A smart contract is an automatable and enforceable agreement. Automatable by computer, although some parts may require human input and control. Enforceable either by legal enforcement of rights and obligations or via tamper-proof execution of computer code. Nick Szabo, a computer scientist, defined them as a set of promises specified in digital form, including protocols within which the parties perform on these promises. In theory, they are very similar to normal written agreements. Firstly, two parties must negotiate and agree on terms of their contract. This is then recorded in smart contract code, which is only triggered by digitally signed blockchain-based transactions. Smart derivative contracts, as seen in the diagram, are at the intersection between derivative contracts and legally effective smart contracts. They are smart because they are derivative contracts which can be automatically performed, allowing for efficiencies that benefit the entire industry.
With this understanding of smart contracts, how can we implement them into financial derivatives? We see 4 key stages. First, identify operational terms that are suited to automation, i.e. those that embed some form of conditional logic where, dependent on a specified time or event, a deterministic outcome is required. Second, form industry-standard natural language definitions. These have been set out for years by ISDA, which is the global organisation responsible for standardising derivatives contracts in their ISDA Master Agreement. Third, translate these into code. ISDA has begun doing this with the ISDA Common Domain Model, a database of definitions for common trade features and processes, translated into a machine-readable and executable data model. And finally, implement these components to create smart contracts. This is laid out in Figure 2. Two parties agree terms of the contract. The seller creates the smart contract using ISDA CDM's portal code generator. The contract is added to the blockchain and verified by miners and the buyer, and the smart contract will then periodically trigger the cash flows as required.
We find the application of smart contracts in the derivatives market has 3 main benefits. Firstly, automation, which streamlines the process for executing and setting up derivatives contracts, reduces paperwork and the need for any intermediaries. This leads to trickle-down benefits of efficiency and cost savings, and the removal of human error with the use of code increases both accuracy and trust in the process. Finally, this offers an easily scalable solution. Secondly, standardization and the development of agreed-upon documents helps to ensure all participants in the derivative market follow the same framework, and it increases the ease at which documents can be reviewed and helps improve regulatory compliance. Finally, the setup of the blockchain as a single source of history ensures all contracts can be reviewed easily and with transparency. This helps improve information sharing and ensures contractual certainty, while the proof of work and encryption on the blockchain also helps improve security.
Despite the obvious benefit of smart contracts within the equity derivatives market, there are also some potential drawbacks. Within the equity derivative itself, there are fixed and negotiable terms. The fixed terms could easily be standardized into a set number of options and included in a smart contract. However, the negotiable term may be different and bespoke for each derivatives contract. This poses many issues such as systemic risk as well as potentially prohibitive cost. Basis risk is a price discrepancy between the underlying asset and the derivative. Due to the fact that no derivatives contract are totally the same, a totally standardized smart contract will undoubtedly have basis risk associated compared to the exact same derivative at present. However, there are potential ways to mitigate this. Systemic risk is caused by errors within the complex code used to create smart contracts, and errors are obviously more likely to occur within negotiable terms. Ultimately, the industry will only move towards using smart contracts if there is a cost-saving benefit associated, and more importantly, as long as it's totally secure. It seems inevitable that derivatives will play a part in smart contracts. However, at first, it will most likely be only the fixed part of the contract.
In summary, the implementation of smart derivative contracts can lead to efficient and reliable automation of blockchain transactions. However, due to the intricacy of certain transactions, as well as the legal issues that surround its application, smart contracts are not yet fully compatible for derivatives. The predetermined nature of smart contracts means that they could be incompatible with transactions that are more complicated or require extensive negotiation. These drawbacks provoke further thought on smart contracts in order for them to be fully applicable on derivatives. On the other hand, it is clear that smart contracts will be beneficial overall. Coded functions allow for a more streamlined transaction process, and therefore people will benefit by saving time as well as reducing the cost when making transactions, which can have a positive global effect on digital agreements. In the future, smart contracts will likely replace traditional contracts. However, further regulation is needed before they are implemented.